Hallo ihr Rabauken. So in this video we are going to review this little fella. So it's a Godox LED light, it's the LED6R. We are going really in detail, in depth, through also some measurements we did, so stay tuned right after the intro. Okay guys, song of the day, song of the video. I hope that the metalheads watching will not kill me, so you can roast me in the comments for that, because the song is more a happy metal song, not a heavy metal song. It's from a German band called Freedom Call, and the song's name is Land of the Light, which fits perfectly to the topic of this video. Okay? So, let's go into it. First of all, I purchased them myself from Amazon, so it was my own idea, so I'm not related to any kind of deals with Godox or others. And the reason I purchased them, main reason, was for videography and photography of products. Okay, so at the moment I'm not using them for any kind of video productions, etc., etc. So that's the sphere I'm talking about and the application area. Then spec-wise, so they've got 3 modes. So one is the CCT-mode, which you can change the color temperature from 3200 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. Then you've got an RGB mode, where you can change the light emission color to nearly every color you want to. And then we've got an FX mode, so there's different special effects built in, like SOS, police cars, etc., etc. So I will show you in a second. And I switched through all different light emission FX modes in a special video, because I didn't want to show them all, so I'll link the video in the description below. And then the light has got different mounts, so that's a hot shoe, cold shoe mount over here, as you can see. Then there are own cold shoe mounts on the sides, so you can combine lights. Okay. And then it's magnetic, which I can show you with these very specific videographer mount, basically. So they are magnetic. The only thing you have to be careful with is, since you can see, I will show you the buttons. They stick out a little bit, right? So if you smack them onto something, the values might change, especially the FX mode can be switched on immediately, because that's the button that with one touch has got the most changes in effect, so the visible changes. Then the light comes with a USB cable, so no charger. The light emission time per charge is specified as 2 hours to 10 hours, depending on on what kind of power output you are running it. And yep, that's it for the specs. So then from the back side, so as you can see, you've got different buttons. So over here you've got the arrow up and down buttons to change values. This is the mode button. So the mode button, if you press it once, it will change between select the different values. You can now then change with the arrow keys. And over here, that's the FX button, so it jumps directly into the FX menu. So what you can see over here, some flashing mode. So I'm not sure what this is at the moment. So, and if you want to get out of this FX mode, you have to press the mode button again. If you long press the mode button, this changes between the RGB mode and the CCT mode. In RGB mode, you've got this value, which is intensity, saturation, and then these degrees give you the coordinates of the color, basically. So I haven't found out what kind of color wheel they're referring to, because degree-wise there is no white in the standard color wheel, so I couldn't find out what it is. So what's very nice about the RGB mode is that you've got this saturation over here, so I can show you this one. So I'm now selecting saturation. At the moment it's at 100%, and then I will go down, so it's now at 50%, 0%. right? It goes directly to white, which is pretty nice. I haven't found this in other lights I'm using of these kind. So I really like this. The color temperature mode, as I said, only goes from 3200 to 6500 Kelvin. So for some of you, it might be a little bit narrow band-wise. For me, it's enough at the moment. So you have to decide by yourself if you want a color temperature that goes beyond 3200 or 6500 Kelvin. Okay. Measurement. We did some measurements. So I used this Sekonic L858, which is besides measuring f-stops, ISO, etc., or gives you the suggested values, also allows you to measure lux, so the light emission value. What I did, we took one of these, mounted them on a tripod, and then we measured the distance or set it up 50 centimeters above this edge of the L858, and then we did some measurements. So it's not 100% scientific what we did, because I never could measure. I measured 260 lux, right? And when I moved the measurement at up and down, or the LED light up and down, I never could hit 270. So for some reason, this value simply didn't exist in this measurement setup. So it's not 100% precise. But despite the fact that I measured 260 lux at 100% at 6500 Kelvin, I'm pretty sure that these 270 in the spec would be fine. And concerning the measurement of the different light emission colors, I don't know the sensitivity if you're sending monochromatic light to this measurement head, if it's still correct. So it's a good, to give you a good gut feeling about the light output. I think it's fine. So, and I put the whole list of the light measurements we did into the description, so that I'm not getting too boring. So the measurements we did is at 6500 Kelvin, 100% output, we've got 260 lux at 50 centimeters. Then at 3200 Kelvin, we had 210 lux. In the color mode, so I started at 0 degrees, which is a red, and then we measured every 30 degrees. We had values between 70 and 210 lux. And to give you a gut feeling what this means in f-stop, so at 6500 Kelvin, 100% output, measured for 1/50th of a second shutter speed and ISO 3200, it would be an f8. The same shutter speed at ISO 400 would be f2.8. At 3200, this would be f7 for ISO 3200 and f2.5 for 30. For ISO 400. Sorry. If I put the diffusion cap on that comes with the light, that's a difference between f2.8 and f2.2. So it's basically 2/3 of a stop you're losing when you're using the diffusion cap. Then another important point, so I switched on a fully charged light and measured every 30 minutes or every 20 minutes. So it's staying pretty constant at 260 lux. So the measurement instrument was showing me 260 lux over the whole time until it switched off. Interestingly enough, in the spec, it should last for 2 hours. It switched itself off after 2 hours and about 40 minutes. So it's pretty long over the specs, basically 40 minutes longer than in the specs. So that's pretty interesting. In addition, we also put two lights together, did the same measurement, and two lights will give you 560 lux, and with diffusion cap, at 6500 Kelvin, 450 lux at 3200 Kelvin, and with cap it would be 450 lux at 6500 Kelvin or 370 lux at 3200 Kelvin, and the rest of the values I put you into the description. Just to get a gut feeling, what I also did, I've got this SL60, which we put bare bulb basically, or bare LED, 50 centimeters, same measurement setup over the Sekonic instrument. And at 10%, this gives you 960 lux, and at 100%, 7000 lux. So just to give you a gut feeling, what's the emission or the power difference, light emission power difference between these kinds. So you get a gut feeling for that. So battery charge time I already talked about. After it was fully drained and switched itself off, it took about 2.5 hours to fully charge. It's pretty quick. I really like it, and that's pretty nice. So now, if you compare this light to the next level light or next higher end light in the Godox product line, which would be the R1, the main difference is that the CRI of this light is 95 and of the R1 it's 98, plus that the R1 is stronger, so it's 600 lux at the same distance. This one is 270 lux. Plus that the light temperature of the CCT-mode of the R1 goes from 2500 to 8500. The question is, would I personally upgrade, because the price of this one is about 35 to 39 euros or USD. US dollars, and the R1 is like, I think, 3 times the price. So at the moment, from the stuff I do, I wouldn't need it. The main reason I would switch to a higher end model would really be that the Godox Light app would be integrated. So if you don't know the Light app, it's basically an app where you can program the lights like you do with the remote for your flashes, so you can control all the parameters. And the Light app is working with the Godox light sticks and some of the higher end LED lights. So now I think, from my understanding, the R1 doesn't have this, so I personally wouldn't upgrade. So I would go like more for, I wouldn't even purchase more of these ones instead of one R1 basically. So to sum it up, from my perspective, the pros and the cons. So the pros: it's very well built. And I really like the price point at where it is, so I purchased 2 of them immediately. And I like the magnetic mount, and also like the 3 modes. Yeah? So you've got some effects. You've got the CCT mode, so you can basically configure the light to match all the other light sources you've got. Plus, you've got these RGB modes. So these RGB mode with different colors I use a lot basically when doing product videos. Yeah? You know, these teal and orange stuff, etc., etc. And the charger, you don't need a special charger. That's pretty standard today via USB, and it's pretty fast charging actually. The cons from my perspective is that the output is lower, so quite a bit from the next higher end model. So it's actually less than half of it. And then there is no app support, but at the moment for these size lights there is no app support, Godox Light app support. Then the CCT mode, the light temperature, which range from 3200 to 6500, is pretty narrow. So the guys using this for video production, so like little movie sequences and etc., etc., it might be a little bit narrow. And then the buttons that are sticking out, so when you're smacking the magnetic mount onto something, there is a chance that you hit the effects button and it will go into FX mode directly. But from my perspective, if you would ask me, should I use them if you want these kind of lights, I'm pretty positive, because I really like them. Very good lights. So that's it for this video, guys. And if you got any questions, comments, etc., feel free to comment in the comment section. You can also suggest me some metal songs. And always remember to listen to more heavy metal. See you next time. Bye.